All right, so I'm going to try to talk to this camera and not stare over here because it looks kind of weird. Um, I just thought I would come on and keep trying to do my engagements and try to keep everybody up to date. I had a talk with a couple people this week, and good news, bad news, and kind of everything in between. So I've been trying to decide whether I want to be completely transparent about what's going on, um, or if I want to just share like the updates. But I think the value, especially with the Patreon, is to kind of show the journey for what it is. So I've decided to kind of keep my regular posts going with Instagram, and I'll post like donut photos and little live updates and shit like that. Um, but the bulk of my everything else is going to be on Patreon, and so I plan on doing talks like this and engaging with people, and I'm still trying to figure out the Discord stuff, but once I do, I'll let everyone know, because there's like chat groups and idea groups and live streaming, and so I can do lives and save stuff there maybe. I don't know yet, so that's what I have to learn still for that. With the Patreon itself, I think we're at 13 people, which is great. I'm going to do videos like this, so it's going to track my progress, it's going to track my attempts and what I'm doing, and what I show the struggles and all the stuff. So I guess with this one, I'm just going to talk about what I did this week and what next week's looking like. It's Saturday now, so I've been in the space for about 2 weeks now. Every day there's more and more and more to do, which on one side, it shouldn't be a surprise to me that I have things to do in the space. I was very lucky that this space was affordable, and it came with, like, I inherited a lot of the equipment that's here, which allows me to do a little bit more than I ever would have been able to do on my own. So this week I found out that, unfortunately, there needs to be some changes to the HVAC. I don't know to what extent or to what cost yet. It could be $20,000, it could be $30,000, it could be $10,000, it could be $1,000. But it's an expense, and it's not an expense I was expecting, and it's 10 times what I have available to me at the moment. So, like, I had the floor budgeted, and I had new equipment coming in, and I had fire suppression figured out, and I had painting figured out, and I'm trying to hire a pastry chef a friend of mine, and get them working and get budget for them, and so I have something to offer. And so, like, financially, it's a hard thing to figure out. So this week I was actually given an out if I wanted to, like, pack up my shit and bounce. And I was very, very, very tempted about that. My landlord's really, really good about being supportive and encouraging, and, like, it's not going to be free, so just kind of accept what it is and go for it. So I think that's what I'm doing. There's a Futurepreneur, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Futurepreneur. There's a program that my credit score qualifies me for, apparently. So I'm going to look into that this week, and that's up to $60,000 in funding. And if I have access to that, I can do my hire. I don't need to worry about renos because I could manage them. I mean, I need to worry about it, but at least it would solve my problems that I have in the next 2 months before I can open. So that's kind of where I stand with that. The other thing I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to share, but with the Patreon, I'm pretty convinced that it's mostly people I already know, and they already know who I am and what I'm about, so I'm not super nervous about sharing, like, the mental health side of all of this, but I don't think I want to put that out to my Instagram. I guess it would be because of stigma or because of just I don't want to be judged for kind of my own shit. So, and I mean, I don't think that will be the case, but I'm just too afraid to kind of put that out there. But I also want to talk about it and put it out there. So I thought, my private Patreon, at least I'm sharing that with people that are taking some interest in me because they're actually paying money to be there. So it's like, I feel like there's less of a chance of getting backlash. I don't even know what it would be. I don't know what the nervousness is about it. But, anyways, I've started a program that is basically mental health support for business owners and people like in a work environment. So workers, business owners, anybody working with shit to figure out qualifies for this program. And this lady walked in off the street. I won't share her name or anything unless she says I can. But it's basically like free therapy, free emotional support, free everything. I don't have to pay her to do it. It's a government program. But there's also potential for funding for myself and for anybody that I hire with a struggle. So that's encouraging to know about that. But for me, it was more the fact that, like, let's say there's 15 hoops that I need to jump through to get this space operational. I could probably come up with 10 of them. And I think I know the order they go in, but I know I'm missing some. And with this, it's like they help me figure out the hoops, help me navigate the hoops, and then kind of get things in place step by step by step. So it's kind of like guidance and support and like someone on your side and all this stuff. So if it gives me a 2% better chance at making this a reality, I'm going to take it. If applying to a grant gives me a 2% chance, there's 4%. If hiring my friend allows me to sell better, more varied food, then we're a donut bake shop. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a really good thing for them. It would be a really good thing for me. And so why shouldn't I should try. So anyways, I'm just rambling and doing my talk and thinking out loud. So I don't know how this is going to look, but yeah. So eventually I would like to kind of incorporate my mental health stuff, or at least talk openly about it on this channel, because like I do have a lot of PTSD stuff, and I do have a lot of anxiety stuff, and I do have a lot of ADHD that I've always known about, but like they tend to kind of kick up under stress, which is why I left my job. I burnt out in October, and so it took me 3 months to be semi-normal. The 13 years doing that job, like I didn't realize how hard stuff hung on. So now I'm just unpacking this like laundry list of trauma and stuff that pops up here and there. So, I knew there was damage, and I knew I had some stuff, and I'm just grateful that I found that there's support for it. I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for a couple of years through my doctor's office and stuff, and which is great. I love it. But I didn't know programs like this existed. I didn't know that there was business support. I didn't know that there was financial support. I didn't know that people gave a shit when they're not really gaining anything. You know what I mean? I'm sure they gain stuff by signing me up as a client or whatever, but yeah, I had no idea. So this program's out there, and now I know about it. And like I said, I'm just going to take advantage of all the stuff I can. Keep my head straight, keep my physical straight, keep my space straight. I've talked to, who else have I talked to this week? I talked to 3 HVAC guys. I've talked to 4 flooring people. I've talked to 2 electricians. I've talked to a handyman guy that's going to walk through my space. I've talked to my fire suppression person. I've talked to, who else? I've got a plumber coming in to look at some stuff. I have accessibility grants I have to look into, but I don't think there's funding for that yet. I am looking into the loan. I'm going through payroll futures for some stuff, hopefully. I've got my RBC bank stuff figured out. Um, Power's been switched over. Internet comes in this week. So like, it's all overwhelming stuff. But then when I'm looking at the list, it's like, okay, you're getting some shit done. You know, I got the deep cleans done. I've got people coming today to look at some kitchen equipment that I'm selling. I've got 2 freezers that I'm currently deep cleaning that I'll put up for sale. They're just chest freezers. Starting to plan my half wall. I'm going to get my espresso machine in this week, hopefully, maybe next week. Because then I can come in and start. I mean, I'm here for 2-3 months before I can open. So I'm going to do coffee videos and learning, and no one can stop me from making coffee for myself. So I'm just going to start doing the posts, and you guys can watch me learn how to use this thing because it's intimidating as shit. It runs on a dryer plug. This espresso machine I bought, I picked it up it's a Magister. It's a early 2000s, I think. It was rebuilt by this like Russian mechanic, engineer guy that I met in Montreal. My wife and I drove to Montreal and made a trip out of it. So we stayed overnight and picked up the coffee machine in like a crazy snowstorm, and he was all excited about it and told me he rebuilt the whole thing and replaced everything on it. And this thing, it's not as pretty looking. Like it's an older school espresso machine, so it's very basic. It doesn't have digital readouts. It doesn't weigh your coffee for you, so it takes a lot more attention to all the things to make a decent cup. But that's good. I don't like stuff doing. No, I don't want automatic weighing grinders. I don't want digital readout stuff on my stuff. Anyways, I like knobs that turn and buttons that click, and I like older school stuff. So I'm really hoping that this machine is going to be user friendly enough that I can make decent coffee with it. But yeah, I like the styling of it. It's old school looking. So I'm going to get that in here. And Chase, I know you're on here. Thank you for following along. He offered to come and help me move some heavy shit because he's a big boy. So we'll be getting my mixer in here in the next couple of weeks. I'd like to get the kitchen portion moved, some ovens and stuff moved before I bring in stuff. I want to bring out stuff so I'm not climbing over everything. But once I'm ready to do that, then I've got some big guys coming to help me lift some stuff and move some big things. So that's amazing that's going to happen. And I'll get the dough room set up and painted, and I have a hatch to replace in there, and we'll get the HVAC quotes in this week, and we'll see if people will give me money. And I'm working on my Kickstarter, so that'll be somewhat of a funding stream that's going to allow me to do a mural on my wall. I've got some artwork from artist friends of mine. I have some hats coming, some sweaters coming, mugs, discounts on coffee and donuts. I'll slowly start getting more lives up and doing coffee videos, and maybe some baking videos from home. I'm not really sure yet how. I think it's gonna be more fun when I have like the full equipment set up, whereas right now when I make from home, it's pretty small batch stuff just because I can't scale up in the space that I have, whereas here I could 5 times what I'm making at home. Yeah, so I think that's kind of catches everybody up for the last video anyways. And then once I start doing flooring and stuff, I'm just going to set the camera up and have people kind of follow along and watch what I'm doing. And yeah, that's about it. And then if I do get funding, or if I get enough funding anyways that I can hire my chef friend, the idea is, I don't think she's on here. I'll have to ask her and talk to her and talk about it. But the idea is that, so she's a trained chef, and I know she's bounced around the restaurant industry. She's got a good food following, food bloggy kind of thing going on, but crazy skills. I think she's 26 or 27. But yeah, like I said, I've been watching her for a while, and she would bring all the things to the table that I personally don't have, and I've been really excited about trying to figure this out for a while, and now it seems like balls are rolling to make this happen. So Oh, so we'll see. But I've got people coming in, so I'll talk to you later.